I was wondering, is there like a sound to an ember storm or ember shower?
That's a good question. I'm not sure that I could to separate the sounds out. There's always wind. Well, yeah, there's always the sound of winds. You know, there's always, no, there isn't always the sound of flames, because especially when you have like snags burning, you know, there can be very like low burning activity down below, but you kind of hear the whoosh. And have you ever heard been at the beach and have like sand hitting hitting cars? It's just this very quiet pinking sound. It's very similar to that. So there's a story that I've been thinking about since you asked me. It's not exactly an ember storm, but early on in my career, I was on the Zigzag Hotshots in Oregon, and we were on a fire in Eastern Oregon by I think the mountain range, or the mountains are called the Sisters. And there was another hotshot crew on this fire on the other side. It was a very small fire, maybe, oh, Simona, I'm so bad at the hectare acre thing, but it was probably like, I don't know, 30, 40 acres, 15 hectares, I think. Something like that.
I think that's about right. But go ahead with acres.
So it was nighttime, like this, we were on night shift, and we were using a hose lay to mop up from the fire line. And so the only thing, we were so tired because we had fought fire during the day, and then we were moving into night shift. And so everyone was just exhausted, and it's so hard to, stand on your feet. But we were using water kind of spaced out, so everyone was 100 or 200 feet from one another. And you're just using the hose to, spray this superheated ash. And when there was a bright moon, but we were wearing headlamps, and the headlamps would sort of illuminate maybe 15 feet around, and you just kind of worked in this space. So you felt like you were in this bubble. But when you switched off your headlamp, all of the embers would start to glow on the ground. And so you would be able to determine where you needed to focus your work. When you switched off the lights, it was almost like the darkness kind of revealed the threats, if you will. But at some point in the night, the only thing that you could hear were like tools hitting the ground, hitting rocks, the water spraying into the ash, and then the sort of like off in the distance, you could hear the hum of the pumping the water through the hose lay, and then a little bit of chatter here and there. But you could hear the other crew on the other side of the fire working as well. And this crew, a couple of the guys, everyone was getting a little rummy, I think, and so they started like hooping and hollering, and I saw this one figure running across, kind of running through the fire, and another one chasing, and they were just hooping and hollering. But as that happened, there was this giant ponderosa pine that was skeletoned by fires, just the branches, and had the moon kind of illuminating this, and the ground was all gray because it was burned, and as they ran past this tree, the tree started falling towards the ground. And I remember hearing the pop of those fibers, like the last of those fibers kind of severing, and the tree hit the ground with a huge thump. But the most interesting thing was that because it was so large, the ash was so deep, the ash and the embers kind of swirled around as it hit the ground, kind of swirled around. And it was almost like this giant ponderosa had this glowing shroud, it was just so incredible. But it was this moment of ethereal awe that this fire had taken down this gorgeous, huge tree, and that the earth was putting a shroud around it with embers and ash, and this absolute terror because it looked like the tree had hit those two people that had been running past it. And so like that moment that hit the ground, all of the radios came alive. Everybody went running towards this tree. And long story short, everyone was fine, but it was this just incredible memory of this intersection between the raw beauty and power of nature and human and human interaction and that sort of thing. So yes, that's a story that stands out in my mind. But the sound of fibers popping because they're burning, or the embers sort of like shattering that biomass, is a very real thing, and it gives you a lot of information when you start hearing that.